All right, finna go to get it started. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 75. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 30 Champ Commandments. Now, this is a podcast that I have been waiting for a while to make, and I wanted to make it around the same time that, like I said, is around number 75. I felt like it was going to be super significant, and I definitely wanted to make a memorable podcast for the 75th podcast. A few things I want to mention before I actually go ahead and get it started. Make sure you go ahead and like the TikToks that I posted, as well as YouTube Shorts as well as I started making a new type of content that I will be posting a lot more in these coming weeks and for the entire next year. I have 7 to 10 minute videos that I'm going to be posting, just short clips of the podcast that I deem to be some of the most interesting points that we've made or that I've made. So if you like the clips, then it's just going to be a little bit longer than the clips. And if you can't watch a full podcast, then that's going to be the route to go for sure. Other than that, one thing I want to say with these 30 Champ Commandments, these are going to be life philosophies and just ideas, and like I said, pretty much just life philosophies that I've internalized, and I stand by these for sure. So one thing I'll say as well is if you're a person that has no direction in life, this is going to be plenty of good advice and definitely a strong foundation for you to believe in. And you can also, create your own commandments for yourself or create your own set of philosophies that you want to live by. And I definitely recommend everyone for doing. I recommend anyone and everyone for doing something similar to this because you definitely need some type of structure when it comes to what you believe in and the things you live by. So that's kind of what I did today. And of course, I live by more than just these 30, but I wanted to have a solid number, and I thought 30 was a perfect number for this. So we're gonna go ahead and get it started. One thing I also want to mention as well is some of these things can conflict at times. Okay, and it all comes down to the importance of what I deem to be most important in that moment. Um, I've definitely had some things in the past where it kind of had a conflicting view, but I actually saw it through, and it definitely, like I said, it definitely put into perspective exactly what I value and how I kind of value it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with that. The first one, the first champ commandment, right? This is a very, very important commandment. Okay, so I believe in treating deserving women with love and respect, right? So pretty much every single woman that I've ever dealt with, for the most part, I would say they know that I treat them with a high level of respect. Shout out to all the women in my life, as far as like my grandmothers, my mom, my sister. You guys know, you guys, all my aunts and everything like that. They've definitely given me the tools necessary in order to learn the respect and learn everything I'll need when it comes to pretty much just like I said, treating women with the respect that they deserve and treating them with the love that they deserve. So that's how I wanted to go ahead and get it started. So that is the first thing that I definitely believe in, and I believe that this should be applied to pretty much everybody, right? You should be treating the women and more specifically, the deserving women in your life with the love and respect that they truly deserve. So that's how I kind of wanted to start it off. Also, if you're in here, I want you to go ahead and leave a comment just so I can see who's in here, and make sure you say what's good. Appreciate it. Other than that, we'll get into the second one. The second one is one of the most important ones that I will say is on here. I believe in taking the ultimate responsibility and accountability for one's life. Now, this is, like I said, one of the most important ones that I will have on here. Now, whatever your life circumstance is, whatever set circumstance you may think that your life is in, I want to emphasize the point that you need to take the ultimate responsibility and accountability for your life because you are the one that is in control of your life. And this is something like I said, I live by because I know that I am in control of my life. And if you deem for yourself not to be in control of your life, there's a flaw. You have control to an extent. And to believe you do not have any control is a false belief in a world that I personally wouldn't want to live in, right? You need to want to create a world for yourself where you believe that you're fully in control. So all the successes that you have in this life are going to be all up to you, and all the failures that you have in this life are going to be all up to you. Taking the ultimate responsibility and accountability for your life is definitely a route that I would recommend for anyone to go towards because, like I said, you'll be able to give the proper amount of credit to yourself, whether you deserve it or whether you're undeserving of it. It all comes down to you. So that is definitely an important one. And one thing I also want to mention is if you have a conflicting view on any of these views or any of these life philosophies, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm missing something, but I definitely think that these are all pretty solid. So yeah, that is definitely one that I wanted to emphasize as well. And of course, and one thing I also want to mention is, you kind of have situations where you seriously can't control them. But for the most part, I would say a lot of people are in denial of them being in true control of their situation, right? I can go on the list and list of other things that people deem to be out of their control when in reality it is in their control. So, with that being said, like I said, there's no excuses. There's no excuses for some of the life things that you go through, right? There are certain things, like I said, that are completely out of your control, and there's a lot of things that people just would like to think that is out of their control because it voids them from having to take the responsibility and looking themselves in the mirror and saying, "Hey, I need to change." Right? Everybody needs to change in this life, and if you're not living the best life that you possibly can be living, like I said, you need to change something. And like I said, that comes with the ultimate responsibility and ultimate accountability that is definitely needed to be taken in this life. Because, like I said, the only way you're going to get to where you want to get to is if you put in the work and if you change yourself and, like I said, take accountability. So that's going to be the second one. The third one, and this is a very important one to me as well. Obviously, these are all important to me, but this one is going to be supporting all the ones who support me, right? I feel like support is a two-way street. If somebody supports me, I definitely want to give them the support that they've given me. I feel like it's kind of counterintuitive to get support from somebody and not, kind of shed that light on that person and say, hey, I support you too. Especially these people that are with me when I come up. I definitely want to give them the support that they've earned. Quite frankly, right? I think it's an earned thing. If you support me, then I'll support you, and if I support you, I expect you to support me. I feel like this is not a unrealistic circumstance or unrealistic expectation to place on an interaction. It is just mutual respect. And with that being said, like I said, if you're a person that supports me, and I know you support me, I'm going to give you the support that you give me, or give you some type of support just so you know that I support you in what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish in this life. So I definitely think that is something that definitely is one of my commandments of the champ commandments, pretty much, right? The next one is using. I believe in using all the pains of life and the discomforts of life to your advantage, right? A lot of people view these things as disadvantages, but quite frankly, I'm not a person who believes in any type of disadvantage, right? Which is gonna bring me to one of my next points, but yeah, using all the pain and discomforts of life to your advantage, right? Try to view it from a lens that is a positive seeking lens, is an undefeated type of lens. Because if you choose to think any otherwise, right, you're not going to be in the best spot possible. And I'm a person who likes to have the advantage, the upper hand in a lot of different areas in life. And if you're a person that would, would likely benefit from those same type of circumstances, then you need to frame things in a way that is in your advantage. So, like, let's just say, for example, right? Let's just say you lost a parent, right? Obviously, this is something that is tragic, right? And this is a mind frame that I would try to adopt if, like I said, I were to lose one of my parents. God forbid that happens, but let's just say it does happen, right? The mind frame I would have, and like I said, this is just an example, right? Obviously, it's one of the worst things that can possibly happen to you. I would use it as a source of motivation, and I would use it to my advantage by saying, "Hey, I'm going to live out all the experiences that I wish I could live with them," right? Or I would use that to, like I said, to push me further when I'm feeling down, or let's just say I'm feeling uncomfortable or feeling sad or whatever. I would say, you know what? They wouldn't like me feeling this way, so therefore I need to go ahead and change my circumstance, or I need to do whatever I need to do in order to, like I said, put myself in a position to win and to have the advantage. And like I said, that was just an example. Um I'm not saying that it couldn't be applied other places, but basically, if it's a disadvantage or if it's a perceived discomfort, definitely go ahead and try to use it to your advantage. It's going to take a little bit of a mind shift, because a lot of those situations are going to leave you down in the dumps. But you need to recognize that the way to live the best life you possibly can is to adopt that mindset of using the pains and discomforts to your advantage. And yeah, that's another thing I'll mention. With all these things that I'm going to be talking about today, I do believe that if you adopt these things, it's going to give you a better existence, a better living existence, a better experience of life. So yeah, the next one is going to be another very important one. Using physicality as a way to strengthen the mind and body by creating your ideal body that is capable of overcoming difficult physical circumstances. So, building the physical body of the the ideal person that you would like to become, right? This should be something that you work on weekly. Some might even say the daily, but I would say a strong body is a strong mind as well, right? You cannot build a strong body without some type of strong mind or self discipline. So I would say it all starts from the body, in my opinion. And as I've built my body and had that created that mental fortitude and created that self discipline for myself, I would say it is definitely something that most definitely is needed for sure, right? Physicality is a way to test your mental, right? So not only do I see working out as a physical battle, but it is most definitely a mental battle. There's plenty of times where shout out to Anthony where I'm in the gym with him and I don't feel like doing it or I feel like I can't do it, right? But instead of that, I use that as a mental challenge to say, what if I can do it? I bet I could do it. It would, like I said, it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm sure I could do it, right? And then I push myself to go further. And yeah, like I said, shout out to my boy Anthony, shout out to my boy KJ. They always, when I'm working out with them, I always turn on that extra gear that I have, which is like I said, building that mental, and the mental is just as important, if not more important than that physical for sure. But like I said, a way to build the mental is definitely building the physical. So yeah, that is definitely one that I would recommend. And like I recommend for anybody, right? Get in the gym if you can. Well, not even get in the gym if you can. Get in the gym because more than likely you can. You can. It's just a matter of putting yourself in a position for you to go. Um, Definitely recommend going for sure. All right, the next one is going to be yes sir, Anthony. The next one is going to be I believe that men have the duty to his family and the ones around him that he cares about to provide, protect, and lead his family, right? I do believe that this is a male philosophy that needs to be adopted within the masses because, quite frankly, for whatever reason, they're not in agreement with this completely within the media, which is nothing more than just illusion. But with that being said, I feel like the man has that responsibility to be those and to do those certain roles. Um, so yeah, you need to be able to protect, provide, and lead your family. And if you're not in a capable position of doing that, you need to put yourself in a capable position of doing that. Because if you're not, then I don't think that you're living the most fulfilled and happy life you possibly can be living. And yeah, I think it's just straightforward and as simple as that. I really don't think that needs too much more explaining. Um, Men have that responsibility, quite frankly. And with that being said, you need to if you're a man that isn't in that position yet, or like I said, in a limiting position, you need to change your circumstance and put yourself in a position for you to win and for you to thrive as a man. So that is definitely a thing that I believe in for sure. All right, the next one is going to be I believe in building up your self discipline through all pursued endeavors, pretty much any pursued endeavor that is worth pursuing. You need to build the self discipline. So this goes in every single aspect of life that you can think of. There's some type of self discipline that is needed to, at the very least, remind yourself on the daily and have a concentrated focus of that certain endeavor that you're trying to pursue. Whether this is the physical, mental, spiritual, whatever it is, there is a certain self discipline that you can establish within your day that is going to allow you to have that focus on that. And I think that is very very important to have um, self discipline built through all those because self discipline is one of the most important values that I definitely value for sure, and definitely something that I would say all people need to value because if you're a person that lacks self discipline, like I said, you're just not living. You're not living the best life you possibly can. And some people view self discipline as like restrictive, but it is exactly the opposite of that. I would say it is not restrictive. It can feel restrictive at times, but ultimately, if it's something that you value and something that you choose to spend your time and energy on and your focus on, then I would say that is freedom in choosing something that is the best for yourself. So yeah, that is definitely something that I would recommend. Like I said, building self discipline through all pursued endeavors in life. The next thing that I believe in is being selective and being conscious of your focus and who you choose to influence you because everybody is an influence to you to some extent. And you need to be very, very conscious of the decisions that you make and the people that you allow in your life. This can even go with the people that you follow, right? Because they have some type of influence over you, whether you like to believe it or not. But you need to be very, very picky, very selective, and very conscious in the people that you choose to let influence you, right? For whatever reason, there's people that let random people who don't matter, who are not really a person that has the best interest in mind for you, letting them influence you. And I don't understand that. I've never understood that, quite frankly, and I never will understand that because that is something that I don't choose for myself. Right? I'm very, very selective, very, very choosy, very, very conscious of the decisions that I make and the people who I allow to influence me. Because, like I said, I recognize how, and most people probably don't recognize this and haven't done the time to research this, but I recognize how impressionable the subconscious mind is. And if you do not, or you're not, you know, caught up with what and how the subconscious mind works, it pretty much takes in every single thing that you consume, whether it's conscious or unconscious, whether you're sleeping or whether you're awake. It takes in everything. And certain thoughts that you will have and certain life paths that you will choose will be dictated based off of what you allow in your subconscious mind. So that's why I'm very, very choosy and conscious with what I choose to listen to or choose to hear, or a person who I choose to let influence me. So that is definitely something that I would say you definitely need to live by. The next thing that I believe in is a phrase that I got, and I don't know who came up with this phrase. I'll tell you the person who I heard it from. I heard from Mike Tyson. It is this little catchy phrase. I won't say it's catchy, but it's something that's, I would say it's pretty all right. Definitely something of importance for sure. And it is, you need to be him before you become him. This is something that I adopted, I want to say either earlier this year, I think so. Like very, very early on in this year. This is a mindset of, like I said, I want to say it one more time for you guys to completely internalize this, right? You need to be him or her to become him or her. So be him before you become him. This is saying that the person that you want to become, you need to first be. And that sounds, you're like, okay, champ, come on now. It's pretty self-explanatory. But you need to really, really think and emphasize this, because be him before you become him, right? Him is a person, right? Who is that person for you? That is a question you need to ask yourself, right? Something you need to be very, very clear on. Who is the ideal person that you can be? Who is the person that you want to be for everyone in your life? Who is that person? And when you think of that and you come to that, concise answer, right? That specific answer, therefore you can be more specific on the ways in which you choose to act, right? And with that being said, you are becoming him by being him, right? It's pretty straightforward like that. But yeah, that is definitely something that I would definitely recommend for somebody to internalize. And this is something that I definitely internalized myself. And like I said, it definitely changed. It definitely changed kind of the ways that I think. That was definitely a very, very paradigm shifting moment when I had first heard that message, for sure. Shout out to Mike Tyson. Shout out to Mike Tyson. The next one is going to be. This is kind of similar to the one that I already referenced, but it's going to have a little bit of a different spin. This one is, I believe in adapting and overcoming any and all of life difficulties. So they definitely need to be not only changed into a positive, but they also need to be something that you adapt and overcome. Like I said, there's plenty of things, and like I said, emotions are different, and like I said, certain life circumstances are going to treat you a certain way, but you need to adapt and overcome the circumstances in which you need to adapt and overcome it. Obviously, you need to go ahead and analyze what specifically you need to adapt and overcome. But with that being said, I do believe that it is something that you need to really, really focus on, because you can't let these things just hold you down, right? You need to figure out a way, and like I said, adapt to the circumstances life throws at you. There's going to be a lot of unpredictable things that happen in this life, but it's not about being a victim of those circumstances, but just being the controller of your destiny. And like I said, with that being said, you need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to overcome any of those life difficulties, for sure. The next thing that I believe in, and this is a very, very important one. Shout out to Jordan Peterson. He's definitely the person where I really adopted this life philosophy. And at first, it's going to sound a little weird until I explain it. So, this is, one second. This is pursue meaning, not happiness. I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit, right? Pursue meaning, not happiness. The reason why I say this is because a lot of people pedestalize happiness, the emotion of happiness. And I'm not saying it is not a worthy emotion to have. That's not what I'm saying, right? I think it's not as worthy of a pursuit as people make it out to be, right? I feel like society has this life philosophy that is happiness is the highest form of being, and it's really not. It's sadly not, because Just as with any emotion, it is nothing more than just temporary, right? With that being said, these temporary emotions are going to come and going to go, but you know what doesn't come and go is meaning. Building meaning for your life is going to take you through all the emotions and let you live the human experience till its fullest extent and get you the most satisfaction of that human experience. I believe meaning for men is I would say believing or I want to say this: meaning for men and meaning for women is pretty much the same thing, right? This is going to be fulfilling your purpose, and if you don't know what your purpose is, then this is finding your purpose. And I believe that men specifically have a duty to provide their service to the world by creating a life paradigm bigger than themselves and their current circumstance. This is all going to be found through meaning, right? You need to find, like I said, a reason bigger than yourself and pursue something that is going to give your service and give your sacrifice to the world in order to make it a better place. Like I said, that is going to be the ultimate route of fulfilling your purpose and finding meaning within this life. This is something that I would deem to be a worthy pursuit. And if you're not pursuing this, well, you need to change something. Something needs to change, and you need to shift your focus for sure. All right, the next thing that I believe in, like I said, another one of those very, very important things is being a man of your word, or being a woman of your word, or being a person of your word, right? This is very, very important. And I feel like this value has slowly lost its value within the world. And I feel like it needs to be reinstilled within the world. So this is why it is a value that I choose to uphold as much as I possibly can. Um, yeah, being a man of your word. I've spoke on this many, many different podcasts, but like I said, the significance always is very, very, very much so. Being a man of your word is saying the things that you're going to do and doing them. And if you don't do the things that you say you're going to do, your word means less. And like I said, it gives you less of a reason for people to listen to you. And if you're a man, your word should definitely mean a lot to you. It should be, like I say, if you're like I said, if you're not a man of your word, then why would I listen to you? Why would I want you around? You're going to be unreliable. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. But none of it is positive. Being a man of your word, and at the very least, if you can't be a man of your word always, understanding that you need to take responsibility and accountability for one's life, like I had mentioned as one of my first few points, you need to go ahead and shift that as well. You need to go ahead and take responsibility and accountability in the moments in which you cannot be a man of your word, but ultimately striving for the value of being a man of your word, for sure. The next one is going to be, all right, this is going to be pursuing freedom. I believe in pursuing freedom in all endeavors in life that you deem to be an essential pursuit. Whatever those specific things are, find a way that you can achieve freedom through those things and don't stop until you achieve that freedom. Um, whether it's time freedom, location freedom, mind freedom, financial freedom, whatever it is, I deem all those to be worthy pursuits. And with that being said, that is something that I'm going to pursue and eventually something I'm going to achieve at a very, very young age because it is one of my focuses right now. And in due time, it will be mine. And yeah, I would definitely say this is a worthy pursuit for anybody, right? If you want to be a person who is who's free and not a slave to the world, that is going to be a worthy pursuit. Figure out a way where you can be free. Freedom is, it's this value. It's this value that this, let's just say, this country that I'm in right now. It is this value that is so highly put on a pedestal, but most people don't even understand the true meaning of freedom. That's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to get into that, but understand that sometimes things sound better than what they actually are, right? Sounds good on paper, but doesn't apply to reality, like I mentioned. But what I'm trying to say is there's certain types of freedom that are worth pursuing in this life that are actual freedoms and not just this facade, if I will to say the least. All right, the next thing I'm going to say that I believe in removal from your perceived distractions, and by removing this, you're going to be able to expedite your process and progress for sure. All right, all right. So with that being said, yeah, if you have a perceived distraction that you know is holding you back, and you choose not to avoid that or remove it, you're just basically pushing off the process. You're pushing off the progress that you could possibly make. You're pushing it one day further back, or you're pushing it one more week back, or one more month back from you achieving that. And I feel like that is something that people don't really take into mind, right? I feel like a lot of people are very super focused on the now and not super focused on the future. I'm a very future focused person. Of course, I take the time to be present and in the moment, but at the same time being conscious of the future as well, because the future, even though it is not promised for all of us, you got to be able to have that paradigm of well, if the future is, I won't say promised, but if it is not even certain, but if it could happen, how would I like my future to be lived? And I feel like that needs to be one of your highest focuses. And like I said, removing the things that are going to distract you and going to push you farther away from where you're trying to go is definitely the route to take. And even if it's something that's going to be hard to sacrifice, I definitely think it is a worthy sacrifice to have because, like I said, it's going to expedite your process a lot further for sure. The next thing, and this is very very important one, and something that I would say not a lot of people have as a life philosophy, but something that I adopted and have adopted for the last, let's say like 2 to 3 years, right? Give me one second. And this is something that I have talked about on a previous podcast. All right. The next thing that I believe in is conquering the beast of lust, right? With this life philosophy that I have, right? I feel like there is going to be periods of time where you're going to need to, actually super focus and conquer the beast of lust. The beast of lust is in all of us, whether you're a man or a woman or anything in between. You're going to need to conquer the beast of lust. You're going to understand that it is nothing more than a temporary emotion, just like all emotions, and it can be definitely conquered. A lot of people are nothing more than a victim of their circumstance when it comes to falling into temptation and into lust. But this is something that, like I said, you need to conquer, and there's going to be seasons in your life that are going to come up where this is going to need more focus. But at the very least, you need to be a person who is conquering the beast of lust as much as you possibly can, because it can deter you from your focus. And I definitely can say at points in times it has deterred me from my focus. So do not be a victim of this, and especially if you can control this, which, like I said, this is something you can control. Make sure you have control over it and conquer the beast of lust. All right, I'm gonna read some comments real quick. All right, gotta head out a little early. Gotta pick up my. All right, Anthony, I appreciate you for stopping by, my guy. Appreciate it. GDP, I see you checking in. Heem, of course, checking in. Appreciate it. Talk that talk, young man. You spitting now? Come on now. You already know what time it is, man. The inherent primal lust of a man. What foe? Let me tell you. Exactly. He knows, right? Like I said, conquer the beast of lust, and it's as simple as that. All right. The next one I'll get into is a very, very important one, and something that I will always speak on for my entire existence. And if it hurts your feelings, then quite frankly, change your philosophy. Change your emotion, because quite frankly, this is the right paradigm to have. I don't care what anybody tells me. This is the right paradigm to have. I will only promote healthy lifestyles. It's as simple as that. I will only promote lifestyles that are going to be healthy and contributing to a better life for you and for me, myself, right? So I will not choose to promote any certain lifestyle that isn't ideal in my opinion, right? With that being said, like I said, if it hurts your feelings, sucks to suck. I can't do anything about that. I can't control the way you feel. All I can do is put out the message that I know to be the best message that I can possibly put out, and that is going to be promoting healthy lifestyles, right? This goes within any aspect of life, whether it's, habit building, whether this is, yeah, pretty much habit building. Let's just say that. That can pretty much go in any different way, but like I said, I only promote healthy lifestyles. This is something that is a champ commandment for damn sure. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, the next one, another champ commandment is going to be a student of life and to learn. Understanding that life is nothing more than just a set of experiences that we all experience, and to be having those experiences at the very least is something to be grateful for, because we could definitely be not living the existence of the human experience. But thankfully, if you're watching this, you are living this experience, right? Understanding that you need to learn from the life circumstances that life throws at you and the experience, not only from the life that you have, but also learning from the life experiences of others is definitely something very, very important that I think everyone should focus in on. And not only with that, but also learning consciously, learning outside of the experiences of others and outside of your own experiences, and trying to consciously get out of your box and trying to learn like I said, consciously. So this is going to be through any type of way, whether it's books, whether it's intentionally trying to learn something on the internet, whatever it is, right? Or maybe even asking the right questions yourself, right? I feel like learning in those specific types of ways are definitely essential and definitely a champ commandment for damn sure. All right, the next one, the next champ commandment is going to be, I believe in striving for more than average existence, right? It's not hard to be average, fellas. Anyone could be average, but it is not a worthy pursuit to be average. And with that being said, I feel like everybody, and I mean everybody, should be striving for more than an average existence because, like I said, it's not something that is hard. It's not hard to have an average existence, but what it is hard is to have something and build something that is of meaning and is more than just an average life, right? And now this is going to be different for every single person. Um, but whatever you deem to be average, try to strive beyond that, and don't compare yourself to average people as well. That is something that I'm learning at this current moment in life is not comparing myself to people that are average because quite frankly, if I view myself as not an average person, then I should not be comparing myself because that is disrespectful to myself. And yeah, if you're watching this, I deem you not to be an average person. I deem you to be more than above average, at the very least, right? Some of us are going to be extraordinary, and with that being said, do not compare yourself to these average people because these average people, they're nothing more than bots. At the end of the day, they're literally bots. They're literally just NPCs, man. Come on now. Yeah, but strive for an existence that is greater than average, right? I feel like it's that simple and definitely a champ commandment for sure. All right, the next thing that I choose to believe in, and this is kind of goes hand in hand with taking the ultimate responsibility of your life. All right, all right. This is going to be you are your only limitation. Having this mindset, Heem and GDP, man, y'all need to relax, man. Y'all doing something else, man. All right, you are your only limitation. Recognizing that you are nothing more than the only thing that's going to hinder you from getting to where you want to get to, right? Taking that full responsibility and adopting that responsibility is so key because if you do not believe that you're the only limitation that you have, you allow somebody else to create the story that you're living. But if you are the author of your story, which is something that I will emphasize on another podcast, right? If you're the author of your story, if you're the controller of your destiny, then you're going to realize that you're the only one holding yourself back. Now, you can give me plenty of excuses, but at the end of the day, they're nothing more than excuses. You need to find a reason that is greater than yourself and pursue that reason. And sometimes, maybe even, yourself is not going to be a good enough reason, but you need to go ahead and build a reason that is greater than yourself. And recognize that, like I said, you are the only limitation that exists. Now, whether it's your mindset, whether it's your current life circumstances, at the very least, you are the limitation. You are the common factor within all these things. So therefore, like I said, change yourself, recognize that you are your only limitation, and go from there. All right, the next one is going to be a champ commandment, something that I've internalized and something that I've applied through my life, and something that I see that is lacking within the world. Truly, truly lacking within the world, and is not adopted as a life philosophy that everyone I think should deem. But it is what it is. I believe in masculinity and femininity dynamics. So I've done plenty of research on masculinity and femininity, and with that being said, I believe that living within those and true to those is definitely going to give you a more ideal existence. And at the very least, going to make sure that your interactions are going to be more thorough if you are understanding what role you want to play and playing it very, very well and learning the strengths and weaknesses of those and just learning everything in between, right? With that being said, yeah, that is something that I believe in, right? It's something that I've applied to my life, and I see no downfalls. Quite frankly, I see no downfalls, right? Obviously, me being a masculine man, I have, understanding those things. And the book that I would recommend to really get a fully internalized philosophy of the masculine and feminine is going to be the book called The Way of the Superior Man. It is going to give you all the tools and all the knowledge you will need when it comes to learning about the dynamics, for sure. All right, so the next thing that I believe in, and this is something that I will always stand on. I will always stand on. You will never see me fold to this ever. You heard it here first. This is going to be, I believe in free speech. I do not believe in the suppression of one side of the argument, right? Now, I might not like the other side of the argument, right? Let's just say somebody made a video specifically towards this video right here, disagreeing with all the things that I have to say. I believe in free speech. If you're going to go ahead and have those opinions that are contrary to all these things I'm talking about today, your opinion is going to be wrong. But quite frankly, do whatever you want to do, quite frankly, right? But with that being said, I'm not going to say that person needs to be suppressed. That is the last thing I'm going to say. Say whatever you want to say. And of course, within moral and correct judgment, or not correct judgment, but just, overall correct judgment. I do not believe in suppressing, like I said, one side of the argument. I see right now in society, you see a certain agenda, quite frankly, where people are strategically suppressing certain individuals for the potential harm that they can bring to society. But I think it's bullshit in my opinion. Quite frankly, do not limit anybody, and nobody should be limited for what they say. Like I said, there's going to be certain individuals that definitely need to be, but a lot of the people that they say need to be censored. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You need to see it through. You need to see it through. But I'm definitely a believer of free speech, and anything that goes against that is going to um, not be in the interest of the people. Truly, I'm gonna say that. To add to that, if you are only allowing one side of the argument to be spoken, you are nothing more than just controlling the society and the inputs that they take in. With that being said, I believe in free speech, and I will always believe in free speech, and I will never sell out like some of these people selling out for free speech. Bullshit. The next thing that I believe in, the next champ commandment is I believe in promoting masculine brotherhood through the people that you're related to and through the people that you choose to surround yourself with, whether this is your friends, whether this is your cousins, whatever, right? I believe in the true masculine brotherhood. I believe that is going to push you to your better self and going to be a definitely contributor to a better life in general, right? So if you're a person watching this, and a lot of people watching this are going to be people that I deem to be my brothers, quite frankly, um, yeah, I definitely think it is absolutely essential to, like I said, living the best life you possibly can. So whether this is my friends, shout out to all my friends watching this. Whether this is, even you can even build a brotherhood type of feel with, just like I said, any masculine figure within your life, whether this is your father, uncle, whatever it is, right? Just having that brotherhood bond is definitely something I would say is very, very important, and more specifically important with the brothers that you choose to have. Um, I have a younger brother. If you guys, as you guys know, probably know, right? I have a younger brother, and that is something that I focused in on specifically this year, and definitely something that has reaped a lot of benefits. We became a lot closer, and also with that, it is going to be one of the strongest bonds that you can possibly make with another individual, right? You're going to have, your mother, your father, your wife, your sister, your brother. I feel like these are all very, very important, very, very, very important. Um, chosen. All right, let's see if it's chosen. Very, very important bonds that you can possibly have with these people, and like I said, that masculine brotherhood is something that I definitely value and will always value for the rest of my life because, like I said, it's just going to give you that best life you possibly can live. All right, the next thing that is going to be the next champ commandment is going to be improving from any and all perceived weaknesses or insufficiencies that are pursuit worthy. Right. So if there is an ideal, let's just say the person who you want to be has a strong suit in something that you are currently weak in right now. Doing whatever it takes to make sure that is no longer a weakness or an insufficiency of yours, and like I said, putting in the time to make sure, like I said, that is no longer that is definitely worth your time, and it's definitely worth your pursuit. Because at the end of the day, I feel like everyone should be trying to. Definitely something that I want to mention as well is you need to be able to adopt the role as the fool. You need to be able to be the fool in order to become the master. And with that being said, like I said, improving from your weaknesses, even though at first you might suck at something, because you are a beginner, so rightfully you need to be able to suck because that is the most humbling experience you possibly can have. But with that being said, recognizing that you were first recognizing your weaknesses and insufficiencies, and then going ahead and correcting those. Because if you are a person who recognizes a weakness that you have and doesn't take any conscious effort to go ahead and try to better that, then you look goofy. Quite frankly, you look goofy because you're not trying to better yourself. You know what's wrong with you, yet you're not trying to help yourself. That doesn't even make any sense to me. So, with that being said, that is definitely a champ commandment. Recognize your weaknesses and better your weaknesses. I feel like this is something that is common sense to me, but not common sense to the world that I'm living in, quite frankly. Because, like I said, I see too many people not improving from their weaknesses, and like I said, it's something that I try my best at, and something I can say proudly that I try my best at. If there's a thing that I need to go ahead and pursue that I deem to be a weakness or an insufficiency right now, it is something that is definitely going to have my attention and focus so I can make the best life that I possibly can. And the way to do that is, like I said, get rid of your weaknesses because they're not going to do anything for you besides hold you back. All right, the next champ commandment is going to be emotional and impulse control and not letting either get in the way of the journey. There's going to be certain emotions that you have and certain impulses that you have. And with the human experience, these are going to be things that you're going to be a victim of. And it is okay to be a person who feels emotions. It is okay to be a person who feels impulses, but how you go about, how you go about those emotions or impulses will dictate who you really are and what you truly value, right? So if you're a person who falls into temptation of, just impulsive temptation or impulsive um, vices, right? For example, right? If you're a person that does that, now if you recognize that you first have the impulse because it is first a thought, and you therefore change it later on, that shows your true character. But if you're a person who has an impulse and who completely goes off of that impulse, um, you're not going to be as put together as you think you are, right? You're going to let the present determine what your future is. If you're a person that is a person who doesn't have control over their impulses, as well as control over emotion as well, right? There's going to be plenty of times where, like I said, negative emotion definitely happen. That is just life. That is the human experience. But how you go about those emotional experiences, like I said, or how you go about, handling those situations, will say a lot more about your character than just having the impulse or the emotion. So that is definitely something that I would say that if you're a person that feels a lot of impulses or feels a lot of emotions, trying to get better at controlling those and recognizing that they're going to come and go, but choosing the path in which you deem to be the most fulfilling path, which is going to probably be somewhat controlling those. So yeah, that is definitely something that I definitely believe in for sure. All right, the next thing that I believe in, this is a very important one as well. I believe in manifestation and abundance through pursued concentrated efforts. With that being said, I do believe in manifestation. I do believe in attracting abundance. But what I also believe in is practicing concentrated efforts as well, which is something that people who talk about abundance and people who talk about manifesting rarely talk about these certain things. But they definitely need to be focused in on because, quite frankly, you're not just going to be able to have, let's just say you want to have $1 million. You're not going to just have $1 million fall right into your lap, right? Now, believe that you truly are deserving of that $1 million and go ahead and put forth the action that would go ahead and get you to earn that $1 million or put yourself in a position to win at the very, very least to try to achieve that $1 million, right? I just said that as an example, but um, I believe in manifestation, like I said, through concentrated efforts. I believe in attracting abundance through pursued concentrated efforts. Now, whatever you deem to be that concentrated effort is up to you. But like I said, you cannot just hope for something and not have any action behind it. So, um, yeah, I definitely believe in those for sure. The next champ commandment, and I have a few more left. I have like 3 or 4 more left. Is going to be utilizing competition with others and with oneself to go the extra mile for sake of motivation and improvement. Now, I feel like a lot of people have a kind of skewed perception on how they perceive competition. Now, I'm a person who thrives off of competition. My name is Champ for crying out loud. With that being said, I use the opposition, I use competition, I use myself, my future self, and my past self as a source of fuel to be pushing myself to my better self. And with that being said, utilize competition for the better. I feel like a lot of people utilize competition the wrong way. Some people see competition as a negative. Some people see competition with others as a negative, which I don't understand. But if you're a person who can utilize competition to your advantage, and I would say the greatest people who achieve the best things for some of those people, like let's just say the greatest competitors ever, right? Some of the greatest competitors ever are some of the best to ever do it, right? The better you are at creating that extra fuel for yourself, however you do it, whether, like I said, it's you're competing with yourself or competing with others, I definitely think competition is going to be the route for you to go. More specifically, if you're a man, because men, I would say, better thrive off of competition. And yeah, like I said, that is something I personally believe in, and definitely is a champ commandment. The next champ commandment, and I want to say we have four more left, is I believe in only thinking, saying, and acting in a way that is going to give the best life that I possibly can live in. Pretty much reaffirming all the things that I had said before, but yeah, don't say things, do not believe things, do not act in ways in which do not suggest that you're going to live a better life because of that. That is something that sounds very, very simple and sounds like common sense, but like I said, quite frankly, people lack common sense nowadays. I'm sure you could see it. There's plenty of idiots that walk around this world. With that being said, do not do not be one of those idiots. Do not say things that do not suit your better life. Do not think things that are not going to suit your better life. Do not act in ways that don't suggest that you could live a better life because of that. That is very, very important. And like I said, I would say people downplay that specific one, and I would say that is one of the most important things. That is a champ commandment for sure. All right, the next champ commandment. Along with that, let me add on to that a little bit. Um, Basically creating an undefeated mindset. Right, I have a podcast. I have actually two podcasts on this with creating an undefeated mindset. That will be used relentlessly. I will always use that because, quite frankly, if you do not have beliefs that are set up for you to succeed, like I said, I don't know what you're doing. So, cultivate a undefeated mindset, and like I said, only say, think, and believe things, and act in ways in which are going to suggest a better life for you. The next champ commandment is going to be I believe in acting in a way that inspires and empowers others by being the leader I know that they will need. This is something that is specific to me, but it's something that you can go ahead and take for yourself as well. Um, yeah, I think it is as simple as that, right? I want to be able to inspire and empower the ones around me, and with that, I need to go ahead and act in accordance to what that is, right? That is becoming him for me, and yeah, definitely something I would say. If you're a man, I would say that is a worthy pursuit for you to go ahead and take up on that philosophy for sure. The next thing that I believe in, and this kind of goes hand in hand with some of the ones that I had mentioned, but I believe in removing any and all negativity and only interacting in respectful discourse and peace with others. This is something that I would say is ideal for everybody for the most part, or for most people. But it's not exactly written down or structured in any type of way for most people. But with that being said, like I said, do not accept negativity in your life. Do not accept people speaking negative in your life. Do not accept people who don't believe in you in your life. Get rid of all those people. Those people are what I would deem to be disposable people because they're not, like I said, they're not going to suggest your better life. So remove yourself from the negativity and, like I said, only choose to act in respectful discourse with others and to have peace with others because that is the way that I would say is going to give you the best life possible. And what I'm not saying is avoid confrontation completely. Sometimes confrontation is needed, sometimes criticism is needed, but also recognize the motives that they have behind it because that is very important. Because if they're not exactly going to have your best intentions in mind, then like I said, you got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of them for sure. All right, and with the last number 30 of the Champ Commandments, I believe in promoting messages with the ultimate good in mind, regardless of temporary emotion or discomfort. I am a person who speaks within honesty and what I deem to be the closest to the truth. This is one of the most important ones. This is something that I will stand on until the day I die. I believe in only promoting things that are going to suggest a better life for the people around me. And like I said, sometimes it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, and sometimes it's going to make you even feel emotional. But what you need to realize at the end of the day is if you're a person in my life and I say something to you or say something about someone, for the most part, it is going to suggest that they can live a better existence than they're currently living. And I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you what I deem to be the closest to the truth. I'm going to speak with honesty within what I speak in. And with that being said, some people are going to not, always have your best intentions in mind, but I'm a person who I would like to believe that I have the best intentions in mind for the people around me, for sure. The ones who are close to me and the ones who care about me and the ones who support me. I'm going to have your best intentions in mind. And with that being said, like I said, I speak with honesty. I speak to what I believe to be the closest to the truth, and I will only promote messages that are good, regardless of temporary emotion and discomfort. So that is the 30 Champ Commandments. If you're in here right now, I appreciate you for stopping by and staying in the chat. If there's a specific one that has stood out to you that you would like to talk about, make sure to go and leave in the comments. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and end it off here soon. So I want to know you guys' thoughts on the 30 Champ Commandments. Which one is your favorite? If you're rewatching this, make sure you go ahead and leave me a comment saying which one is your favorite. Or if you have like 2 or 3 that are favorite, make sure you go ahead and leave in the comments as well. One more thing I wanted to mention. Make sure you go ahead and tap in with the TikTok. It's just Life of a Champ podcast. I have more followers on there than I have subscribers on here. So make sure you go ahead and follow me on that. Also, if you're watching this or watching this for the first time, make sure you go ahead and leave a like and also subscribe to the Life of a Champ channel. Like I said, also leave a like on the YouTube Shorts as well. That is something that I'm definitely working very, very hard on. And also look out for the small clips of the podcast that are not shorts. I'll be posting those hopefully a few times a week. And so far, I posted one that has over 100 views. And if I'm not mistaken, I got a few subscribers off of that. One thing I want to mention as well. With the episode number 75 of the Life of a Champ podcast, I also recently hit 150 subscribers as well. So I appreciate everyone who has been my supporter. And I will continue to produce content that is going to suggest a better life for you. So stay in for the ride because this ride is going to be a wild one, fellas. And it's as simple as that. So if you're in here, like I said, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And also, before I go ahead and end it off, make sure you go ahead and tell me which one of the Champ Commandments is your favorite. All right. Come on, fellas. Where you at? Where you guys at in the chat, man? I need y'all active right now. Shout out to Noe. Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention as well, which GDP had mentioned. Yes, I'm growing out my facial hair from here on out. I won't say from here on out, for the rest of this month. We'll see how it is at the end of this month, see if I want to keep it or not. But it is definitely something that I decided on impulse beginning of November to say, you know what, fuck it, I'll try it out. So that is what I chose to do. And if you notice it, it is what it is, fellas. If you don't like it, let me know. I want you to let me know. I want you to be honest. If you do not like my facial hair, let me know. If you like it, let me know. I'm trying to get people's different opinions on it. So, like I said, I want you to be honest with me. With that being said, like I said, that was the 30 Champ Commandments. All right. I'll go ahead and end off. I don't see any of y'all commenting, so I'm going to go ahead and end it off, fellas. I want to leave you guys off with this one piece of game right over here. And this is, you can never make anyone want it. They either want it or they do not. If they don't want it, do not make them want it. And if they want it, then they will show you that they want it. Now, this can be applied to many, many, many different things in life. But, yeah, no, it is as simple as that. You can never make anyone want it. They either do or they don't. So that is the game. Shout out to the boy, Kane. Kaney boy. Happy birthday to the boy. 1 year old today. You know, I was just at his birthday party just before this podcast. So, yeah, shout out to that. Had a great time with family. Come on, now you already know what time it is. Come on. That is a shout out that I was gonna give at the end. I was gonna give it at the end. So other than that, fellas, one thing I want to say before I go ahead and end it off. Over here, we don't just work around here. We outwork, fellas. So make sure you outworking these people day in and day out. And other than that, fellas, you guys have a good rest of your night. This was the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 75, talking about the 30 Champ Commandments. Make sure you stay tuned in for the episode coming on Thursday, as well as, like I said, check out the TikTok, check out the YouTube Shorts. But other than that, you guys have a good rest of your night. And like I said, until Thursday.